Now this probably goes without saying, but I am here today with three-time Guinness World Record holder Ryan Hart, man of many talents. Ryan, can you briefly explain the progress you've made this weekend and what you're going to do today?
Well, this weekend is all about qualifying for the 25th anniversary Capcom tournament, and it's between 4 games, and those games are HD Remix, Third Strike, Street Fighter Cross Tekken, and Street Fighter 4 AE. Yesterday I got top 4 on Third Strike and HD Remix, which wasn't the best. I did actually want to win and get the spot for San Francisco, but that's what I'm going to be about today, because today I'm planning to claim a top 2 spot, which will get me a ticket to San Francisco and the Grand Finals, the 20th anniversary.
You've been playing fighting games for a very long time. Can you give the audience an idea of just what your history within the community is?
Yes, I have been playing for a very long time. I started video games when I was 10 years old, wandered into a minicab office and started playing Golden Axe and Shinobi and those old classics, Data East, Double Dragon, stuff like that. But yeah, it then extended from there, and when I was about 16, I entered King of Fighters 96 tournament and won. That was the first time I ever won in the late 90s, and have been winning since then. I mean, I've won over 450 tournaments worldwide. I've travelled to a few of the continents, done a lot of Europe, North America, Asia, more recently South America, and also Australia. So, it's been quite a long trip for me, and I've been really enjoying it. It's been great to meet all the different people from the various communities and sort of share their passion, well, our passion together. And yeah, I've been really happy with everything.
The scene sort of exploded in 2009 with Street Fighter 4. What advice would you give to newer members of the community who might be a bit daunted by people with such long histories as yourself?
Well, I think that there's always room for new talent. I think that if it's something that people want to do, they should never sort of stop at being kind of deterred by people who've been doing it for a lot longer than them. It is an open, it is an open hobby. It's an open subculture now, and we can't do it without the people. I mean, I'm here today because of you guys, the community. I mean, it's not about having, 1 or 2 guys that have everything and no one else gets anything. It is a fun thing for everyone to share together. And I'd encourage people to get involved. I mean, if you don't know how to get involved, look online, like find out where your local forum is, something where players cater for your area, or find out where events are so you can go and meet people face to face. Maybe perhaps try playing online if you have a good connection and you have players that you can play with that are on your level. And just get involved, because that's how you then understand more about it and realize, what you want from it as well. Because some people, they might start out playing a certain game and then they'll try other games as they get involved more and realize that the original game isn't for them. And they, sort of take more to another game. So it is all about just getting involved and trying it out and seeing, because that's the fun of it, really, sharing it with other people as well. So yeah.
Now, you're godlike at fighting games, but on your Twitter feed it says you're a breakdance teacher and a media analyst. How on earth do you find all the time?
Well, I got into games as a hobby. It was never meant to be a main job or anything like that. So I've always, I mean, just during my college years, I played games on the side on the weekends or in the evenings, and it's just always been a thing that I just did when I could. So it's more like the other things were the main things, and then games were what I did when I could. Obviously now that I'm sponsored by a team, so there's a good company putting money out there for me to do the best I can, so I have to prioritize it a bit more and think about it differently. But it doesn't stop me living my life and having the other things alongside of gaming too. I think it's just about prioritizing, actually prioritizing and making time for the right things when you need to.
Now, Capcom have announced the IPL as their new sort of home. And the IPL is an esports organisation. There seemed to be a gulf between esports and the FGC. What do you make of that, and where do you think that's going to go in the future?
I think it's a brilliant move. I think IPL getting involved with AE is a brilliant move. I think we need that. We need more hands on deck when it comes to AE. People need to realise that it's an amazing game and it's a it's a legit sport. It's not just a couple of guys mashing buttons. There are names for all the moves. There are reasons behind every move. There are different attributes that every move has, and you can exercise your brain in how you play the game. So there's a lot of psychology and intelligence that goes into playing these games. And the more media outlets pick up on this and get to communicate this to the the unknown, the media that don't really understand about games, the more that the word gets out, I think the better, for the community and for the growth of esports as well. Because fighting games now becoming a part of esports, it becomes a bigger deal.
What do you think constitutes a member of the fighting game community? I mean, there are so many different types of people here today. I saw some guys I beat you at a tournament in Chepstow just now. Like, you've travelled all the way here from Wales. Obviously, I have as well. What do you think makes someone one of us? If I can call myself that, I'm still among gods here.
I just think that, It's just about coming together and being able to appreciate each other. I mean, it's not, you don't have to actually do anything to be a part of it. I mean, if it's what you like doing and you're here, then you're in, I guess, you know. But there are lots of people here, you know, there are people here that just want to come and see what it's like, people here that want to take part, people here that are commentating, you know, on the stream. I mean, there are so many different roles within the community. It's not always just coming down and being the best or whatever. There are so many ways to be involved. And, you know, there's a time and a place for everyone. It's obviously, you know, there's people now that are the best, and then there are people that are going to come up and going to be better than those people and stuff like that. So I just say, you know, if it's what you like to do, then come down and get involved. But I do think that it's about doing it from the heart. I don't think you should sort of get up there and be like, well, I want to be a pro player, so I'm going to do this. I don't think that's necessarily the right attitude. I think you should play it from the heart. If it's something you naturally enjoy doing, then go for it. And, you know, if you naturally sort of excel at it, and it goes to something more, then so be it. But, you know, there's millions of amazing things you can do in the world. It's not necessarily that you have to play games, you know. So I think that it's important that you play it for the right reasons, you know, in terms of gaming, pro gaming.
One last question. I've seen you compete under the name The Prodigal Son. Where does that come from?
Prodigal Son isn't from the biblical story. It comes from a 1980s movie called The Prodigal Son, which stars one of the three martial arts legends, Yun Biao, as opposed to Jackie Chan and Sammo Hung. And Yun Biao plays the main character, who actually is supposedly the master of, you know, martial arts in his town. And you know, whoever he challenges, you know, in street brawls, he always beats them, and he's known as the town's champion. But in actual fact, his father, who he's an only child to, pays his opponents to lose because he doesn't want his son to get hurt, his one dear son. So basically, I took the name Prodigal Son to have a modest approach to my success over the years. And I wanted it to be a kind of little joke that, you know, I think I'm all that, but I'm actually rubbish. And, you know, there's some dude out there that's paying all my opponents to lose to me. You know, it's just a little fun way of sort of having a kind of, modest approach to winning. And it's a really good film as well. So if you haven't seen it, guys, check it out. But yeah, it's called The Prodigal Son, and it's brilliant.
Absolutely. Well, very high recommendation there. Listen, I'm absolutely honoured to meet you. Thank you very much for the interview. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. Thanks.